Hello guys, you are once again very welcome in my channel. Now today we discuss another very important portion is the abdomen. The first class about the abdomen. Now you all know that this abdomen is the part of the trunk of our body. Now if you see the abdomen is basically a sac-like structure. Okay, abdomen is basically a sac-like structure, nothing but this. This abdomen above there will be the thorax. So as per we have know that this border should be what? This border is nothing but the diaphragm. This border should be nothing but the diaphragm. And this is the above the abdomen. Below the abdomen there will be the pelvis. So this border is the pelvic inlet. Now what are these structures will form the pelvic inlet? The pelvic inlet will formed by the ala of sacrum. The pelvic inlet will formed by the iliosacral joint. These will formed by the arcuate line. This will formed by the iliopubic eminence. This will be the formed by the pubic tubercle. This will be the formed by the pectinate line. This will be the formed by the and the symphysis pubis. Sacroiliac joint, ala of sacrum, anterior to iliac spine, and this is the iliopubic eminence, pubic tubercle, pectinate line. Actually, this will form just like a round-shaped border like here. This will form the round-shaped border like here. This is the abdomen, is the above the muscular organ. Okay. Now this anterior. Now you will be seeing the lateral view. Okay. The abdomen. It is a lateral view of the abdomen. Now this is the anterior wall of the abdomen. This anterior wall of the abdomen is completely muscular. And let's have suppose this is the anterior superior iliac spine. So the lateral wall. This is the lateral wall. This lateral wall will the above is of the anterior superior spine is the muscular, but below here it is the bony. Similarly, this is the posterior abdominal wall, this is the anterior, so this is the posterior. This posterior abdominal wall above the anterior superior iliac spine will be the bony. This is the formed by the lumbar vertebra, and this part below the anterior superior iliac spine is formed by the pubic of the pelvis, but pelvic bone. Okay, so this is the boundaries of your abdomen. So today we will discuss about only this anterior abdominal wall. The first chapter of the abdomen is this anterior abdominal wall. Okay. So the next structure that earlier we discussed about this lateral view. Okay, now I will discuss coming to the anterior wall. Now my eye will be at this position. Okay, now you see this is the anterior wall. This anterior abdominal wall has the 9 compartmentalization. Okay, there is a 9 compartmentalization. Okay, this 9 compartment made up by the 2 vertical lines and the 2 transverse lines. These 2 vertical lines are joined by the clavicle and the mid portion of the inguinal ligament. This line is known as the mid clavicular line. Now this line, this transverse line is known as the transpyloric line. Now what is the importance of this line? This line is drawn at the level of the L2 to L3, L2 to L3, and you will find why is it transpyloric? Because it passes through the pylorus of the stomach. Okay, that's why this is called the pyloric. And here the pancreas, here will be the gallbladder, here will be the gallbladder. Okay, now this line, this second line will be known as the transcubarcular line. This line is the important characteristics of this line is very important is the formation of the inferior vena cava. This is the, there will be the pylorus of stomach, pancreas and the gallbladder, and here is the very important is the inferior vena cava. What is the line where it is formed? At the level of the L5 vertebra. So this is the, these are the some of the lines which will be the compartment, makes the compartmentation. This transpyloric, this transcubarcular and this mid-clavicular line. This mid-clavicular line is very important for the compartment making. Now suppose, now let's have the name of this compartment. This is the mid compartment. This is known as the umbilicus. This is known as the umbilicus. Now let's suppose this is the our left side. Now this is now my right side. So this should be the left side. This should be the right side. Okay. Umbilicus. Above the umbilicus is known as the epigastric compartment. This is the hypogastric compartment. This is the lumbar compartment. This is the hypochondrium compartment. Hypochondrium. And this is the iliac fossa. Okay. So first epigastric, the lateral side, hypochondrium, umbilicus, lumbar, hypogastria, iliac fossa. Okay. So this is the total 9 compartmentalization. These anterior abdominal wall so have the 9 compartmentalization. What is the importance of this umbilicus? This umbilicus is the connection of the fetus with the mother. Fetus with the mother. This umbilicus, how does? By the omphalomesenteric duct. By the omphalomesenteric duct. This, suppose this is the your umbilicus. This umbilicus will have the 2 arteries. This umbilicus will have the one obliterated vein. This is known as the ligamentum teres hepatis. You will find it in the your liver. Ligamentum teres hepatis. And you will be having the one vein is the obliterated umbilical vein. Obliterated umbilical vein. Okay. So we in this portion we read about the 9 compartments and how does they are making by the 3 lines. Actually, how the you will draw this line? This line actually drawn by the middle side of your nipples throughout the rectus abdominis muscle and near about the, not at the particular inguinal point ligament midpoint, is at near about the middle point of this inguinal ligament and absolutely the middle point of the clavicle. That's why it is known as the mid-clavicular line. Okay. So this is very important for the how does you will make the compartment of the abdomen. Now next we will move towards the what are the layers forming the anterior abdominal wall. There are total 10 layers. There are total 10 layers which will be form the anterior abdominal wall. What are these layers? These layers are the actually from the external surface towards the viscera. So this is the layer anterior abdominal wall forming. This is the skin. This is the superficial fossa. This is the fossa camper and the fossa scarpa. This will be the forming by the external oblique muscle, internal oblique muscle transversus abdominis muscle. This will be the formed by the fossa covering transversus abdominis, and this will be the formed by the some of the fatty tissue and the peritoneum. This is the parietal layer, the peritoneum. Okay, so these are the 10 layers will form your anterior abdominal wall. Means if this is the this structure, if I again mention, so this border will form your anterior abdominal wall by these 10 structures. Okay. Now, what will be the you write about the skin? Now, in the skin, the very important role is the testosterone. You always have to know that testosterone is the very important hormone which will be causing the, in case of the male, there will be the hair formation in the abdomen, like throughout the basically through the your linea alba, along the course of the linea alba. But in case of the female, it is the thin skin. Okay, it is a thin skin. So no hair will be in the abdomen in case of the female. This is due to the testosterone. Superficial fossa and the fossa camper. This fossa camper will form the 3 structures. Okay, what are the 3 structures? The 3 structures are the ductus muscle, superficial fossa of the peritoneum, and there will be the one other important structure. This is the ligament. Some of the other ligament are formed. Okay. Now this is the fossa camper. This is a fibrous structure. This is the fibrous structure. This will be the prevent the bulging. Okay. And these are the external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis. I will later discuss. These are the flat muscles of the anterior abdominal wall. Okay. Along with 2 other important muscles are there, but these 3 are very important. These are nothing but the fossa which will be covering this anterior this fossa anterior abdominal wall muscle, transversus abdominis, the fibrous tissue, and the peritoneum. Peritoneum is a 2 layered. One is the parietal peritoneum, one is the visceral peritoneum. Suppose this is the viscera, this is the your peritoneum. So this internal wall, this wall will be the this internal wall will be your visceral, and this outer wall is your parietal. This is the internal wall. This internal wall by the your viscera, and this is the your parietal. Viscera, so visceral layer, and the parietal. This is the parietal layer I will discuss. So this is the parietal. So easy to have the remember this. So next slide we will also mention about these important flat muscles and what are the characteristics of these flat muscles of the abdomen. So must have to know what is not so basically very important. Just to keep remember, this is the skin, superficial fossa, fossa camper, fossa scarpa, external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis, fossa covering transversus abdominis, fatty tissue, peritoneum. Peritoneum is a 2, parietal peritoneum, visceral peritoneum of the peritoneum. So this is the what are the 10 layers will form the anterior abdominal wall. So next we will move towards these flat muscles. In previous I mentioned the 10 layers. Among the 10 layers, there will be the 3 layers will be the forming these flat muscles. Now what are the 5 flat muscles are very important. Okay, these are the external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis, rectus abdominis, and there will be the pyramidalis. These are the 5 muscles will form your anterior abdominal wall. If I mention the points, so there is a number of points, but you must have to know these 2 point terminology. These are the flat muscles, okay, and these are all the digastric group of muscles. Now, what is this digastric? Earlier you should have to know the digastric muscle is also in your head and neck region, okay. Now, why is called a digastric? Because all the muscles will be are inserted into the linea alba formation generally, linea alba, and on the other hand, there will be the particular they have origin. So they have the 2 structure will be the the insertion as a tendinous level. Okay, so that's why this is the digastric group of muscle. Okay, and the third point, these some investigators have also say that these flat muscles are the ascending upward and formation of the infrahyoid group of muscle. This infrahyoid group of muscle, which is commonly known as strap muscles. These strap muscles are what? These are thyrohyoid, sternothyroid, and omohyoid. These four muscles are nothing but the extension of these five group of muscles. So you must have to know what are these five group of muscles, what are their origin, what are their insertion, what are the nerve supply, what are their action. Okay, so that's it for the, and I will gonna move towards the next slide. Okay, so next we will move towards the first muscle, is the external oblique. What is the origin of external oblique? This external oblique actually formed by the as a two muscle, serratus anterior and the latissimus dorsi. Latissimus dorsi. This serratus anterior from the 5th towards the 8th rib, and this latissimus dorsi by the 9th to 12th rib. Means 5 to 12 if I consider 8 ribs. So upper 4 ribs by the serratus anterior, lower 4 ribs by the latissimus dorsi. Means this is the origin. Suppose this is the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. So let's have to do, this is the origin. This lateral aspect actually. Okay guys, now what is the insertion? This inserted as a muscle, as well as this inserted as a aponeurosis. I mentioned earlier these are the digastric group of muscle. As a muscle, the 10 to 12. This means if suppose this is the your 10 number of the your rib, so the fibers will forming the 10 fiber from this, from here. Whatever this fiber, this form is forming as a muscle, and they are getting the inserted to where? They are getting inserted towards the anterior superior iliac spine. And as the aponeurosis, the rest of the fiber will forming the aponeurosis at the level of the 9th costal cartilage as an S-shaped structure towards the anterior superior iliac spine. Anterior superior iliac spine. Okay. So their level of insertion is same. Some group are as a muscle, some as an aponeurosis, because the digastric group of muscle. Now what is the nerve supply? The nerve supply by the T7 to the T12. What is the action? These are the all are the anti-gravity muscle. Means the whatever there will be the, if there will be the viscera will be there. This viscera, how does the viscera will be the standing as like the anti-gravity? Because due to the nothing but these muscles. These muscles are the will be the your anti-gravity actions, and these are all the twisting muscle. Means along with the vertebra have the some bending. Along with that, the muscles will be the also provide your twisting movement. And the third point, that these muscles are actually, if you know this, these muscles will be the outward, this external oblique is the bulge, but later they will be the move towards the shrinkage. So this is the very important structure for your inspiration. This diaphragm and the abdominal muscles are the inspiratory group of muscles. You know this. Now next muscle is the internal oblique muscle. This internal oblique muscle have the originated from the lateral 2/3 of the anterior segment, anterior column of the ventral segment of the iliac crest. Okay. These internal oblique are formed by the inguinal ligament, and they are formed by the lateral iliac crest, inguinal ligament mainly, and some of the iliac fossa and the lumbar fossa. Means what is that? There is the anterior lateral down. If you earlier mentioned that suppose this is the your this is the external oblique muscle. This is the external oblique, suppose, and here this is will be your internal oblique. This is your internal oblique. Okay. Now, what will be the level of insertion? The insertion will have various insertion here. There are some fiber will form the cremasteric muscle. Some will form the posterior most fiber will ascend to the lower 3 or the 4th rib. Some fiber will also form the linea alba formation. Some fiber will form the conjoint tendon. What is this conjoint tendon? This conjoint tendon is formed by the 1/3 of the internal oblique and the 2/3 by the transversus abdominis muscle near the superficial inguinal ring. Okay, this is the conjoint tendon. Nerve supplied by the T7 to T12 and the L1 nerve. What is the action? The twisting muscle, and these are the anti-gravity muscle. Okay, so that's it for the internal oblique muscle. This internal oblique, you must have to see here. Actually, this external oblique muscle somewhat also will be the linea alba formation, and here you will find that little bit of opening. You can see actually this opening is nothing but the superficial inguinal ring. And if I mention that this external oblique, the lower fiber of external oblique, is the condensed to form the inguinal ligament. So inguinal ligament, above the inguinal ligament, there will be the opening, there will be the canal. This is the canal-like structure. Here will be the one opening. Actually, this is a triangular shaped opening, and this is called this opening, and this canal is called the inguinal canal. Okay, so this is nothing but the opening of the external oblique, internal oblique, and the posterior is the transversus abdominis. So the anterior wall will form by the external oblique, internal oblique, few fibers of internal oblique specifically, and the posterior will formation of the transversus abdominis. Actually, this is nothing but a muscle gap. Okay, which will be the anterior wall. There is a one triangular opening. There is a superior superficial inguinal layer, and as per se, this posterior wall. This is not this the muscular opening actually, and this is the deep inguinal ring. This is the oval shaped opening. This is the oval shaped opening, and actually this inguinal canal will be the located medial portion, the medial above the medial portion of the inguinal ligament. Okay, so that's it for the your inguinal canal portion. Now, transversus abdominis. Transversus abdominis will be the formed by the intermediate segment of the anterior 2/3 of the inguinal ligament. This transversus abdominis will also formed by the lumbar fossa and the fossa iliaca. Fossa and the fossa iliaca, and it is the formed by the iliac crest. Okay, so what is the origin? This is the level of origin actually. Suppose this is the your iliac crest, so the fiber will be the originating as like this. Transversus abdominis. I mentioned there is the posterior wall. This earlier I will mention the posterior wall of the inguinal canal will be formed by the transversus abdominis, and this anterior wall will be formed by the external oblique and the internal oblique. Okay, so the posterior wall will be formed by the transversus abdominis muscle. This posterior wall will be formed by the transversus abdominis muscle, and this transversus abdominis, what is the insertion? The insertion should be the conjoint tendon formation. This will be the also the transversus abdominis also will form some other the ligament with the linea alba formation and the rectus sheath formation. the nerve supply T7 to T12 and the L1 nerve. Action should be the anti-gravity group of muscle, and these are the twisting muscle. Okay, so this is the transversus abdominis muscle. What is the origin? What insertion? Nerve action. Okay, next we shift to the rectus abdominis. This rectus abdominis muscle will form by the xiphoid process. What is the xiphoid process? So this is the sternum. This is the xiphoid process, where the meeting point of the two lateral borders of sternum, and actually this is the third, starting from the third. Okay, and this is the blending as like this. This is the curvature, so it's like a curvature. So this is known as the semilunar curvature. Semilunar curvature, and this is the origin from the third rib. This is the origin from the rest of the fiber, fourth to fifth rib, means as like fourth to fifth rib. Okay, and the some fiber will costoxiphoid ligament. Costoxiphoid ligament. Okay, guys. Now the insertion. Insertion will be the symphysis pubis. This is the symphysis pubis, and the pectinate line. Nerve supply by T7 to T12 and the L1. Action, this is the anti-gravity muscle again. This is the anti-gravity muscle, and this is a support in the respiration, and this will be the twisting muscle also. Twisting muscle. Okay, this is about the rectus abdominis muscle. Guys, next to our last topic for this class is the rectus sheath. Is the most important topic. This rectus sheath is the nothing but the sheath. This is the aponeurotic sheath of the rectus abdominis muscle and the pyramidalis muscle. This pyramidalis muscle is not so important. Even some person will not have the pyramidalis muscle. Okay, so this is the fossa covering the rectus abdominis and pyramidalis. And when I mention the rectus sheath, the anterior one and posterior one, means suppose this is your rectus sheath, rectus abdominis muscle. So this is the anterior wall of the rectus abdominis, and this is your posterior wall of the rectus abdominis. Now how does it with the covering? How does the cover will form this rectus abdominis muscle? Earlier we mentioned this is the origin from the third, fourth and the fifth xiphoid process, costoxiphoid ligament. So this is the fiber of your rectus abdominis, and now suppose this is your, how does will your formation will be the takes place. This is the fiber of the transversus abdominis. Transversus abdominis. Okay, now this is your umbilicus level. This is your umbilicus level, and there will be the one another. You should choose the another pen. Now this is the external oblique muscle. Okay, guys. Now how does will your formation? Means this is the aponeurotic sheath formation. This is the cover. There is the whole length cover. Actually, just for drawing, I will mention this part. Now, the whole of the rectus sheath will be divided in the border by the three levels. Suppose this is the X is the above the xiphoid process. This is the umbilicus. Okay, so this is the xiphoid process. This is the umbilicus. Now one part will be this is the xiphoid. This is the umbilicus. One part will be the above the xiphoid. One will be the between the xiphoid umbilicus, and the third point will be the below the umbilicus. how does will be the formation? Whole are covering the rectus abdominis. So first draw the rectus abdominis. Please draw the attention now. And this actually the external oblique is the only one muscle. The posterior most fiber internal oblique will be absent, but this posterior will be most will be the erector sheath formation actually. This external oblique is the only muscle which is the above the xiphoid process. Okay, so this is the formed by the xiphoid process, by the external oblique muscle. See, external oblique. Okay. Now the posterior wall will be the deficient. Here the posterior wall will be formed by the this cartilage. This is the ribs. Okay. Now at the this is the your what you call the above the xiphoid process, the rectus sheath, and here will be the artery and supply. When I mention the content, I will mention that there will be the artery will be the here, which will be the known as the superior epigastric artery. Superior epigastric artery. Okay, this superior epigastric artery you will be the also find it here. Okay, guys. Now the xiphoid, in between the xiphoid and the umbilicus, the anterior wall will be formed by the external oblique muscle. Okay, and the anterior wall also formed by the internal oblique muscle, and the internal oblique muscle also will form your posterior fiber, and the posterior wall also will formed by the your transversus abdominis. You see, this is the posterior, so this is the posterior fiber will formed by the transversus abdominis muscle. Okay. Now here below the umbilicus, the anterior fiber will formed by the external oblique, anterior fiber will formed by the external oblique, anterior fiber will also formed by the internal oblique, and anterior wall will be also formed by the transversus abdominis. All muscle will form, and the posterior fiber will formed by the fossa covering. Earlier mentioned the fossa covering transversus abdominis. This fossa covering transversus abdominis muscle. Okay, and I forget to mention what are the content. This content is the some of the nerve. This nerve is what? Intercostal space nerve is the content of this area. And what is the content at this area? This content should be the, this is the, suppose this is the external iliac artery, and here will be the one branch will be the ascending upward. This is the thickest. Now suppose this is the your external oblique will be the formed by the inguinal ligament, and so the above it there will be the inguinal canal. Through the inguinal canal, posterior wall of the inguinal canal, then it will be the ascending upward, and here will be the aponeurosis near the abdomen. There is the anastomosis of this inferior epigastric artery. This is the branch of the external iliac artery. Okay, so that's it. What are the content? How does the formation rectus sheath? This, what are the clinical importance of rectus sheath? Very important. Earlier, when the open surgery will be done, the surgery will be the three type surgery will be there. This is a median surgery, paramedian surgery, lateral surgery. During the median surgery, there will be the number of complications are there, like your hernia. Okay, some of the types of the herniation will be the seen, but nowadays this is a completely not seen because the new technology will be the come, and there will be the process of the operation will be the is changes. But earlier is a very common, and there will be the heroes will make packs. These packs are nothing but this is the rectus abdominis. This wall of the rectus abdominis is a tendinous insertion. Okay, this is a tendinous insertion, amount of tendon will depend on the amount of the packs, okay, for an individual. And there will be when the abdominal pressure will raises, like the sneezing, like the coughing, all this time, this external abdomen oblique, internal oblique, transverse abdomen, all the flat muscles protect your viscera from the protruding outwards. Okay, so that's it. What are the surgical level? First surgical level, then the protective mechanisms, and these are the very important clinical anatomy regarding the rectus sheath. And what are the contents? The content should be the rectus abdominis muscle, 2 artery, external iliac artery and internal iliac artery. Third will be there will be the pyramidalis muscle also. This is the here will be the pyramidalis muscle, okay, the pyramidalis muscle. And the fourth one should be some of the few nerves. Here are the few nerves. These are the your rectus sheath content. What are the borders? You will see the 3 different level of the borders. How does it form? Okay. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching the whole video. Thank you guys.